Hi everyone. So we've been talking a lot about measures of center, and today we're going to focus on using measures of center to find a missing data value when you're given a data set. So let's take a look at our first example. Maria's bowling scores for the last 4 games are 134, 126, 105, and 157. What is the minimum score she must get on the next game so that her average score for the 5 games will be at least 135? So she's bowled 4 games so far. Here were her scores. And she's going to bowl a 5th game. So we want to figure out what she needs to get on the 5th game so that she will be at least an average score of 135. Okay, so let's look at our steps over here. Start by defining your variable. So we do have an unknown here. We need to start with defining our variable. So let x equal, and what we don't know here is her score on the 5th game. So Maria's score on the 5th game. Okay, now if we look over here, it says set up an equation or an inequality. So for this example here, because she wants to have an average score of at least 135, so it does not have to be exactly 135, at least 135 means she'd be happy if she was at 135 or above it. So because of that keyword at least, this is going to be an inequality that we are going to use. So instead of an equation, we're going to use an inequality here. Now I want you to think about how we find average or mean. To find the average or the mean, you add up all the data values and divide by how many there are. So I'm going to do that including my 5th unknown data value. So my first 4 data values that I do know are 134, 126, and 105, and 157. So those are the 4 that I do know. So if I was finding the average, I would take all my scores, add them together, divide by 5. Now my 5th score is my unknown. It's my x. So I'm going to take my 5 scores, divide by how many games there are, which is 5. And then if she wants to be at least 135, I'm going to use my greater than or equal to symbol. So once you have this set up, you're really solving the equation or the inequality for the variable here. So if you think back to when we solved equations and inequalities, you want to start by combining your like terms. So you have these numbers up here that can be all combined together. So take a moment, add those together. Let's combine them. When you do so, you will get 522. Now, if I want to solve for x here, x is in my numerator. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to get rid of my denominator here. So I have dividing by 5 in the denominator. So I'm going to use my inverse operations. I'm going to multiply both sides of the inequality by 5. That undoes my division by 5. I'm still trying to solve for x, so I need to get x all by itself, so I need to move this positive 522 to the other side. So to do that, I'm going to use my inverse operation of subtraction. So here's my answer. X has to be greater than or equal to 153. Now I want to go back and interpret that solution in terms of our problem here. So what they were asking us was, what does she need to score on the 5th game so that her average will be at least 135? So we want to answer that. Maria must score at least, so notice I'm using that same keyword they gave us in the problem. So Maria must score at least 153 on